my name is Alexis Taylor, and today I'm joined here by Tiara Staples. She is a student director of Theatre AUM's upcoming production, Blood at the Root. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad you were able to join me today to speak about this production and for me to learn more about yourself. So speaking of yourself, could you tell me before you started directing, how did you interact with the theater space?
Right, so when I first came to AUM, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I kind of just showed up to rehearsal one day and was like, is there anything you can get me to do? So I've done like ushering, I've worked on the lights, doing electrics, I've done the soundboard, the light board, carpentry, all of the above, before I took Mike Winkleman's directing class before he retired, and I was like, oh, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just this.
So you got to have like an all-around feel of what all goes into like a theater production.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I think that's really cool.
It is. You get an appreciation for the collaboration of the art and a greater respect for like your collaborators when you do something like that.
Exactly. So like, what would you say called to you about being a director?
So honestly, it's because I would see plays and kind of be bored by them. You know, I'm like, God, this is a little boring. You know, I want to see something that's like relatable and controversial and thought-provoking, engaging, fantastical, all of the above. You know, and I had so many opinions about like what is good theater, what is boring theater, what is engaging, and I was just like, why don't I just do it myself, right?
Exactly.
Be the change you want to see, right? And there's so many communities that need a voice, and I wanted to be that voice for them. I wanted to advocate for those communities using art and theater as their platform. So.
Exactly. I think you speaking about art, I think art has such an amazing capability to reach so many people.
Absolutely.
So by you having like how you want to make improvements, I think that's a really amazing skill for you to have as a director.
Right. Like when you see yourself on the stage, when you see people with your experience, your background, you feel less alone, right? And there's so much power in representation, not only for the people who are of that community, but for others who haven't had the experience to see those people in their life, like trans people, queer people, people of color. When you see them on the stage in their natural human, you know, their story, their background, everything, all of the above, you're able to empathize with them. And then you take that empathy from the theater and then into real life. And that's the highest thing that art can achieve, right?
Yeah.
Building togetherness, building empathy.
Exactly. I love that. So would you say you're enjoying your time as a student director? If so, like what struggles have you had to face through that?
I'm loving my time as a student director. There are some things about like some conversations being had about directing in the theater world about like the power dynamics and the inequity of it all. But when you're a student director and you're directing your peers, you're on such a like much closer level, right? Like you can connect better, like the dynamics are a little bit lessened, right? So you're able to have just so much fun and collaboration and all of the above when you're working as a student with your peers. The only struggle I would say I would have is this is my first time directing a full-length production. I've directed scenes, I've directed monologues, but never a full-length production with an entire like 8-week rehearsal schedule, right? So the time management of it all is really testing my abilities to like manage my own time and others. But luckily, I have some really great mentors in Neil David Seibel and Val Winkleman. So they're able to educate me and assist me in doing that.
Exactly. Well, I love that. So speaking about you being a student director, let's talk about the production Blood at the Root. So what about Blood at the Root made you feel drawn to direct it? What made you want to choose this for the spring 2025 show?
The strong black woman lead, Ray Lynn. I read this play before the election, right? And we were all like, rah, rah, Kamala, right? And actually, Raylan's last name is Harris. So Raylan Harris running for school class president as the first black girl in her school to do so. And I was very inspired by, you know, just the world around us where we're having like current legislation trying to erase black history, the efforts of queer people, the efforts of people of color from our history. And I was like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to put a play. I'm going to show our audience something that I had never heard of, the Jena Six in 2006, because, I mean, we weren't really sentient then, right? We were little babies. And I was like, this is kind of fate, right? Black history, unknown black history, a strong black woman running for class president and her last name is Harris, I have to do it right now.
Yeah, it's just calling to you. I think
Yes.
it's written in the stars
It
that you have to do this.
Yes.
So, from you speaking about how you feel with the political and social and cultural things going on in our time, what do you hope the audiences can take away from the story that's being told?
That you have power. That this isn't their country, it's our country. Whatever we want things to be, we can make it so. It's going to be scary, you're going to get resistance, but you can cause change. You will cause change. Whether it'll be the change you want or by going out there and fighting for what you think is right, or whether you sit back and do nothing, you're going to cause something, right? So just really, I want to empower our audience to recognize that they have power. They have more power than the people who are in quote unquote power. There are more of us than there are of them. What we want our world to be, we can make it so.
Exactly. I think all of what you said is so beautiful. I think from what you said so far that this play is going to be really amazing at just cultivating that sense of power and encouragement to students and everybody, because I feel like it's so easy to kind of forget, like you said, you have power. So I think that's really amazing.
Yes, and they use the word apathy so many times in the play. Like, the worst thing you can be is apathetic. And I truly believe that. The worst thing you can be is apathetic. The world will keep moving around you, whether you like it to or not, but you can cause real change. You can bring about positive, progressive change by just speaking out for what you think is right, acting in the way that you think is right.
Exactly. So as a student director, this being kind of the first, play of its kind, like speaking out of these issues, do you wish to direct more stories of similar nature to Blood at the Root with these social issues, or do you want to kind of go a completely different route?
I'm new in my directing career as a student, and I kind of want to do it all, but obviously all of the work that you put out there, you want it to have like a reason to it. You want it to have cause. You want it to be important for its time. So I will not be shying away from these like hard societal complex issues. If anything, I would like to do more of it, but also maybe more with a fun edge, maybe a comedy here or then,
Of course.
but still fiercely political. I think that's part of my aesthetic now as a director.
And I think from how the audience and how we will be able to see you directing Blood at the Root, I think that's going to be an amazing show of like what your future will be like in theater.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, Tiara, for joining me today. I'm
you.
so excited to see what this play has in store, and I'm super pumped for it.
I'm excited for you to see it.
Yes, ma'am.